Hello, everyone. In today's session, we will be discussing the transfer requisition process in workforce management within the Onfinity system. Let's begin with an overview of the transfer requisition use case. An employee submits a request for a location transfer outside the system due to personal reasons. HR reviews and verifies the request and then enters the transfer details into the system. After the auto approval, HR completes the transfer process and issues a formal transfer letter. Next, let's go through the steps involved in the transfer requisition process. Open the transfer requisition screen. Create a new record and input the necessary details. Save and submit the record. The request will be auto-approved. Click on the Update Employee Info button. Navigate to the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen if there is a change in compensation. Then go to the Proposed Salary Change tab. Create a new record. Enter the relevant details and save it. If required, issue a transfer letter to the employee. Now, let's look at the prerequisites for executing a transfer requisition. The following screens and data must be predefined in the system: organization, employee personal information, employee work information, department, position, grade. Use case execution of transfer requisition. Once a transfer request is received, the HR admin records the transfer details in the system, including the effective date, proposed organization, and any other relevant information. Upon auto approval, the HR admin updates the final transfer details using the Update Employee Info button. Then, the payroll admin accesses the transfer requisition payroll screen and enters any proposed salary changes. Finally, the HR admin issues the formal transfer letter to the employee. Now, let's look at how this works in the Onfinity system. This is the login page of the Onfinity system. To proceed, we'll enter our login credentials. I'm logging in with an admin role, so I'll enter the admin username and password. Once done, click on the Login button to access the system. After logging in successfully, you'll be directed to the home page. Here, you'll find several charts and widgets displayed. Now, let's navigate to the Transfer Requisition screen. For that, open the menu. Select the HR Management folder. Navigate to Workforce Management, scroll down, and click on the Transfer Requisition screen. This is the landing page of the Transfer Requisition screen. Here, you can access various charts, widgets, and advanced search options. Currently, the data within these widgets and charts is not visible, as there are no existing records in the Transfer Requisition screen. Once records are added, the charts and widgets will update automatically to reflect the latest data. At the top, we have the New Transfer Record button. Clicking on this will redirect you to the screen where you can create a new transfer record. Returning to the landing page, you'll find the View Transfer Records button. This allows you to access and review existing transfer records. Since no data has been entered yet, no records are currently visible on this screen. Back on the landing page, there is also the Employee Transfer Details report, which provides a comprehensive view of all employees who have been transferred. In addition, several advanced search options are available for more refined filtering. You'll also find the widget for Top 5 Transfer Reasons, Transferred Employees Comparison Chart for previous year versus current year, Top 5 Organizations, with the maximum number of transferred employees chart in the current year. Now, let's proceed to the screen to explore these features in more detail. There are several filters available to search for specific data such as transfer number, employee name, effective date, and more. Click the New Record button to create a new entry. The organization is automatically populated based on the one selected in the user profile. However, you can change the organization manually if needed. You can either enter the transfer number yourself or let the system generate it automatically after saving the record. Employee names will be filtered here based on the selected organization. You can search for the employee name directly or click the Employment Information button. Select the desired employee and click OK. Please note that only confirmed employees will have their data displayed in this section. Once the employee name is selected, their information will be displayed in the header panel, along with the details such as the current department, position, grade, joining date, and the date of the last transfer, will also populate automatically. If the employee has no previous transfers, the date of last transfer field will remain empty. After a transfer is added for the employee, this field will be updated to reflect the effective date of the most recent transfer. Next, enter the effective date for the current transfer. Please note that the effective date cannot be earlier than the employee's start date. If an earlier date is entered, the system will display an error message that the effective date cannot be lesser than the employment start date. Here, the effective date entered, I am entering, is 15th October 2025. Enter the transfer type, specifying whether it is inter or intra. If the transfer type is selected as intra, the proposed organization will automatically populate with the same organization as the employee's current one. The location of this organization will also be filled in automatically. In this case, the proposed payroll cannot be selected. If the transfer type is selected as inter, the proposed organization field becomes mandatory. Select the proposed organization, for example, Sonic Solutions. The location will populate automatically. Then, select the proposed payroll. Payroll options will be filtered based on the selected organization. Next, select the proposed department. If the employee is being transferred to another department, you can search directly for the department or select it from the list. If no departmental change is required, simply cancel this step. Select the proposed position in the same way either by searching directly or choosing from the list. In this case, I'm selecting Software Engineer and click OK. Once a position is selected, the proposed grade field becomes mandatory. Choose the appropriate grade based on the position. Enter the transfer reason. If the reason is secondment, you will be required to enter an end date. For other transfer reasons, such as in this case, marriage, the end date field becomes read-only and does not need to be filled. Enter the proposed by name. You can type it directly or select from the list. Arshdeep. Please note that the name of the employee for whom the transfer is being entered will not appear in this list. The transfer status will remain as draft until the record is submitted. If the employee has revised compensation during the transfer, mark the checkbox as true. In the transfer recommendation field, enter details such as transferred due to marriage and offered a higher grade and position based on performance and business requirements at the new location. Next, we have the letter details section. Click on the Show More button to expand it. In this section, you'll see the letter sent checkbox and the letter sent date field. Both of these fields are read-only. When a letter is sent to the employee, either through the employee letter request or the Generate Letter form for this screen, the system will automatically check the letter sent box and populate the letter sent date with the date on which the letter was sent. Once all the required details have been filled in, click the Save button to save the record. As you can see, after saving the record, the transfer number is automatically generated. Now, if you need to attach any documents or files related to the transfer, click on the Attach document. Select the required file from your system. Click on the Upload button. Once the document is successfully uploaded, click the Close button. Now, each time a recommendation is added or updated, it will appear under the Recommendations tab. To view them, click on the Recommendations tab. Toggle the record. Here, you'll see the recommendation entry, with the Recommendation By field, showing the name of the logged-in user who added it. After reviewing the information, click the Back button to return to the main transfer screen. Once all details have been verified, submit the record for approval by clicking the Submit button and confirm by clicking OK. After successful submission, the record becomes read-only, the transfer status is automatically updated to approved, and the Update Employee Info button will also appear. Here the record was approved automatically, because auto-approval is enabled. However, if required, an approval workflow can be configured according to the requirement. Now, These details will also be reflected on the employee personal information and work information screens. To apply these transfer updates across other sections of the system, click the Update Employee Info button and confirm the action by selecting OK. After confirmation, the system displays a message indicating that the details have been successfully updated. To view the updated information, navigate to Workforce Management and open the Employee Personal Information screen. Go to the screen. Select the respective employee to review the changes. The organization field will now display Sonic Solutions instead of Sonic Ventures, confirming that the update has been applied. Next, open the Employee Work Information screen under Workforce Management. Go to the screen. Select the same employee. Navigate to the Employee Work Information tab. Here, you can verify that all transfer-related details have been updated correctly. The organization has been changed from Sonic Ventures to Sonic Solutions. The start date reflects the current date. The position has been updated to Software Engineer, and the grade shows as Standard. Since the department was not changed during the transfer, it remains the same. The Payroll field has been updated to Monthly, and the change reason is recorded as Marriage. Please note that the start date is updated only on the Employee Work Information screen. On the Employee Personal Information screen, it continues to reflect the employee's original joining date. Additionally, when the organization is updated, the Cost Center field becomes blank automatically. In such cases, the Cost Center needs to be entered manually. As these details are updated here, the corresponding information is also updated in the versioning section. Whenever changes are made to these records, a history entry is created in the versioning. To view the versioning, go to the Action panel, click the Zoom Across button, and select the screen. Here you can see the updated details of the record, along with the previous values. Any fields that have been changed will appear under the Old Values section. Scroll down and click Show More in the versioning section. Here you can see the Valid From date, and the record version is shown as 2. If you want to view additional historical entries, you can check the other records in the versioning. After verifying the updates, now let's return to the Transfer Requisition screen to proceed with the next steps. Since this transfer involves revised compensation, the employee's salary details must also be updated. To do this, navigate to the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen. Before proceeding to the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen, let's return to the landing page to verify if the charts and widgets have been updated with this new record. Navigate back to the landing page now. Here, we can see that the charts and widgets have been updated with the latest record. Now, let's move on to the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen. Navigate to Workforce Management, scroll down, and click on the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen. This will take you to the landing page of the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen, which is similar to the landing page of the Transfer Requisition. Let's proceed to the screen. Here, only the employees for whom the revised compensation checkbox is marked true will be displayed. Now, toggle the record. In the Header tab, the information will appear in a read-only format. Next, navigate to the Proposed Salary Change tab. The first field displayed is the component type, which includes options such as basic salary and gross salary. In this case, I am selecting gross salary. The current monthly gross and basic salary values will be automatically retrieved from the Employee's Work Information's Entry Value tab. Proceed to the Proposed Component Value field and enter the updated salary amount. For instance, change the salary from $30,000 to $40,000. The effective date is automatically populated from the Header tab. However, it can be modified if necessary to align with the effective date of the salary revision. Once the record is saved, the increase-decrease percentage will be calculated automatically based on the entered values. If required, enter a description here. For example, updated as per latest compensation structure. After entering all required details, click on Save button. Upon successful saving, the system automatically displays the calculated increase-decrease percentage. So as of now, admin have access to the Transfer Requisition Payroll screen. However, Access permissions can be configured so that only designated payroll team members have rights to view or update salary-related transfer data based on the requirements. Now, let's move to the Transfer Requisition screen. Since we've already created the Inter-Transfer Requisition record, if you'd like to generate the transfer letter for this employee, then go to the Action panel. Click on the Inter-Transfer letter. Choose the desired file format, either CSV or PDF. In this case, I'm selecting PDF. The intercompany transfer letter has now been generated for the employee. Returning to the Transfer Requisition screen. Since this is an intercompany transfer, the inter-transfer letter is displayed in the Action panel. If the transfer type had been selected as intra, the intra-transfer letter would have been shown instead. Following the letter generation, you can also generate a report containing details of all transferred employees. To do this, navigate to Workforce Management, and under the Report section, click on Employee Transfer Report. Alternatively, you can access the same report directly from the Transfer Requisition landing page by selecting Employee Transfer Details Report. So firstly, here, you can choose the report format, CSV, PDF, or RTF. If no format is selected, the report will be generated as a PDF by default. Based on the organization selected in the user profile, the organization field will be auto-populated. However, this field can be modified if you wish to generate a report for a specific organization. You may also leave it blank to include data for all organizations. For this case, I'm selecting Sonic Ventures. Next, select the employees from the employee information. You can choose multiple employees at a time to generate their transfer report. In this case, I won't be selecting any employees, so I'll click the Cancel button. This is the Clear button, which you can use to reset the employee field details. Enter the transfer date range for which you want to generate the report. For example, enter the date range from September 2025 to October 31, 2025. Similarly, you can specify the department here. Multiple departments can be selected at once. However, since I'm not selecting any department right now, I'll click the Cancel button. After entering the desired filters, click OK to generate the report. The system will display the report based on the specified criteria. In this example, the report shows data for one employee, Sushmita Arya, as only one record was available within the selected period. To view the report more appropriately, click the Zoom button. The report displays relevant employee transfer information, including details such as organization, transfer type, and other attributes. Since no proposed department was specified in this case, that field appears blank in the report. If you wish to download a copy of the report, click the Download button, and the file will be saved to your device for future reference. That concludes the session on the transfer requisition process in the Onfinity system. Thank you for attending.